Hello, hello, and welcome back to Zekism. Today we are going to be discussing, commentating, pontificating about the Naked Gun film. It's not a remake, I believe it's a sequel. I think I'm right in saying, just based on the teaser trailer and the new trailer that came out the other day. I don't know if it's best to start with the history of Naked Gun and then give overall thoughts and then watch some of the trailer footage. I'm not sure. So the background, as I'm sure many people are aware, to the Naked Gun films, Police Squad, but the Naked Gun films, I've got... where do I start? Okay. I love the Naked Gun trilogy. I love Leslie Nielsen. That is my comedy jam. I grew up very much loving those films, loving Police Squad. I got into Police Squad after seeing the films. And Leslie Nielsen in general, I think is one of the comedic geniuses, and I really mean that, comedic genius performers. And I don't think it's fully recognised or acknowledged just how good he was as a comic performer. I love Spy Hard and Dracula Dead and Loving It. The 90s Leslie Nielsen films were some of my favourite of all time. I think he's brilliant. So the Naked Gun trilogy in particular was ones that I grew up loving, watching repeatedly, still watch today, and I can't wait for my child to be old enough for me to show her just how hilarious my sense of humour is. But I love those films very much. So I've got a lot invested in that trilogy, and I know you shouldn't personally go, oh, it means so much to me, but it does. And so when I heard they were doing a reboot or a remake or a sequelizing the films, you sort of balk a little bit and go, oh, I'm not sure about that, especially modern day comedies, or, in my opinion, sort of lack thereof, very sort of socially agenda driven rather than just being funny comedies written about sort of surrealist environments and stuff. So look, I saw the teaser trailer with Liam Neeson now taking the role of Frank Drebin, the son of Frank Drebin. That's Leslie Nielsen's character for anyone who didn't watch the originals. And look, on paper I can see the logic of saying, well, look, here's a classically trained actor, as Leslie Nielsen was. He was a serious dramatic actor who pivoted into comedy incredibly successfully, and is now more known for that than he was his serious stuff. The same could be said for Liam Neeson. I think he's dovetailed into comedy over the last decade or so, with sort of his in and out roles with Family Guy and Seth MacFarlane, which is why we'll get to why he's in the Naked Gun films. And also his, he's popped up in Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant's Extras as a comedic sort of cameo. He did what's he done? He's done a few comedies, I think, rather than sort of his taken roles and his sort of, gruff, elderly gentleman sort of action facade. He's played off that, I think, for comedies. And here he is in the Naked Gun. So I can see the logic on paper as to cast Liam Neeson in this, for Liam Neeson to sort of be the new Leslie Nielsen, and I really hate those words. I like Liam Neeson a lot, by the way. I'd shout out him, he made a cameo in Derry Girls. I don't know if anyone's seen Derry Girls. It's a comedy, Irish comedy. I think it's available worldwide on Netflix. It certainly is here in the UK, or on Channel 4. But no, I'd recommend Derry Girls. It's a really good comedy. But he popped up in that for a cameo as well, obviously being sort of Northern Irish especially. He popped up and he was funny in that as well. So yeah, I do like Liam Neeson before I sort of criticise him so much. The problem is, I'm going to say it again. The problem is, it's called Naked Gun, which, I mean, we'll start watching the trailer now, and I'll sort of go into my issues with it, or sort of, not issues as such. That's sort of wrong. But we are going to play it for obvious reasons, because especially Paramount, they like to copyright strike. I've received one already this month for something else. So yeah, I mean, here we are setting up the sort of comedic foil. It seems serious, action-packed, and normal Liam Neeson-y action film, and then punchline, and I won't reveal. He rips his hands off, and so it's very surrealist. Comedy is subjective, of course, so not everyone will find what everyone else finds funny, and vice versa. The film itself, I feel, has potential based on this trailer. I think the teaser trailer was funny, sort of mildly amusing, but it didn't really. And here's the sort of bit we saw in the teaser trailer where the sort of sons of Frank Drebin, the police chief whose name escapes me, and Nordberg, played by you know who, and there's a funny gag in there as well, which they're crying over their dads who are no longer here, and then you see the son of Nordberg. Yeah, I can't acknowledge him, which is a fun. With that's genuinely funny. And there's a few bits in the trailer which make me think it could make me laugh. And honestly, that's all the comedy needs to do: make you laugh. And it doesn't look like it's sort of socially driven. Here we are. Seth MacFarlane's producing it, so I think that's where the Liam Neeson link comes from. We've got Pamela Anderson playing essentially Priscilla Presley's role from the originals. So there's some funny bits in the trailer, and I think actually it looks like a film that will make me laugh at least. See, I mean, there's Cody Rhodes there, weirdly. Cody Rhodes that's a weird cameo, but it has comedic potential, and I think it will actually be a comedy that makes me laugh more than the 6 times is the barometer, I think. And then you get this gag, which is very in line with the old Naked Guns. So before anyone says they're ripping off Austin Powers, I think Austin Powers pretty much ripped off Naked Gun, and Naked Gun then ripped off Charlie Chaplin and other originalities from comedy. It's silly to sort of argue over where jokes stem from. It's a funny visual gag. Yeah, he looks like he's getting a certain thing done when he's not. So there are some funny setups and some funny bits, some funny harkbacks as well, I think, to the originals. Liam Neeson looks like he's been as silly as hell, but I didn't find this little girl bit funny, but each of their own. But the issue is, I think that's the issue. Calling it the Naked Gun. If this was, I think, just a comedy that came out starring Liam Neeson being very weird and being very surreal, even in line with what the Naked Gun original did, I don't know why you needed to. Well, I know why. It's financial, because it's a recognised brand name. I would imagine nowadays. I mean, I know it very well, but I do wonder how many sort of people are familiar with the franchise at large. But that said, I think it's. See, this joke is really funny. This is in line with what would happen in the originals. He would accidentally break a hole in the prison and the prisoners would break out. Absolutely, that would happen with the Leslie Nielsen films. But I think calling it Naked Gun makes me, as a Naked Gun fan, look at it and go, well, it's not going to compare to. Leslie Nielsen was, in my opinion, one of the kings of deadpan slapstick comedy. I'm not sure Liam Neeson is that. I haven't seen the film yet to judge, and I'm sure it, like I said, it will make me laugh. But why did they need to call it Naked Gun? Well, we know why. It's financial. Whereas if it let it breathe on its own and not had that sort of hark back to, again, sort of, a pointless franchise film callback, just call it something. I can't think of a clever creative name, but there must be Police Story or what's the Kevin Smith was going to call what's it, that film he was going to call it? He was going to call it Clever Dicks or a Couple of Dicks or something like that. There are names you could call films. That's not the point. The point is that it's needlessly called or been referred to as Naked Gun, and a sort of pointless hark back in the singular scene. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too sniffy or too negative. I didn't want to be negative about films coming online when I started my channel, but at the same time, I hope this film is really funny. I think it is going to be really funny because I'm a fan of Seth MacFarlane. I've been a massive fan of all his filmmaking exploits, to be honest. I wasn't a big fan of that Once Upon a Time in the West, or Million Ways to Die in the West. Sorry, Million Ways to Die in the West. Which also starred Liam Neeson, and he was okay. I don't particularly remember him being hilarious. I think he was the villain, wasn't he? So that's my frustration, I think, with it. I don't understand why it needed to be Naked Gun. I hope it's funny. I think the trailers have made me laugh, which is a good sign. Hopefully they haven't put all the jokes in the trailer, which a lot of comedies tend to do. So there's a lot they're hopefully saving for the film to come out. But yeah, I suppose that's my frustration. And like I said, I'm not overtly negative. Hopefully there's enough positivity on my channel to know that I don't just rubbish films online, because I really don't like people doing that. But I just wish they'd called this something different. I think, honestly, if you just change the name, I think I would be fine with it. I didn't need a new Naked Gun, especially one without Leslie Nielsen. But here we are, we have it. And I am going to go see it. I'm going to judge for myself. I can't help but going with a little reservation because, like I said, I've got so much invested in the originals. I love them. I still watch them to this day. And they still make me laugh, even though I've seen the jokes a million times. They're brilliantly made comedic films. But yeah, that's my reservations. What do you think? Am I being too harsh? Let me know in the comments section. Please leave me a like and subscribe as well, if you so choose. That'll be really, really appreciative from my point of view. And yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.